Hot take. I don't think the professional difficulty is that hard in the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think that if you played hardcore, the hardcore difficulty, in a way you know what to expect from the professional difficulty because they are very similar. I think the two main differences is the fact that first, you don't have any autosave or checkpoint, so you have to rely on saving the game. And full disclosure, I don't think you should go for the professional difficulty unless you're very confident and you have a good knowledge of the game, because this is what it is about. It's about knowing what to expect and what comes next. That way you can predict which enemy you should just run past and which encounter you should try to tackle head on, and even where the where the treasures can be found and all those things. So yeah, I don't think this should be your first playthrough. And the second difference, the big one, is the fact that the professional difficulty is very so inconsistent. It is unfair and it is sometimes very unbalanced. And you can have 10 runs where nothing bad happens, where the game doesn't try to purposely fuck you over. But you can have those runs every so often where nothing works, where you get stunlocked and there's nothing you can do. And I'm going to show you two clips. The first one is it's very sketchy, but the second one is where I actually lost it, where I said to myself, this game is full of shit. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Just tell me if you think those things are just, bugs, random occurrences, or if the game is purposely trying, if the game has an agenda. So far, I have beaten this game 6 times, and I was heading into my 7th playthrough in order to make some tutorials, some guides when it comes to achieving the S+ rank in this hellish difficulty. So I know my way around, I know what happens when you do certain things. So I was heading in the house where there's a shotgun, and you know that whenever you get into the house, there's going to be a cutscene and there's going to be the chainsaw man bashing at the door trying to get in. And knowing that, I go upstairs to grab the grenade after successfully pushing the ladder, because when you do so, they're going to try to get it back up. They're all going to be gathered together, which is the perfect opportunity for you to use the nade. And the whole time, I'm very fast. I don't waste any time trying to break anything I don't need to break. And I also know that it will take, give or take, 5 to 6 seconds for the chainsaw man to actually come in. So I know I'm safe, and I know I may have 10 seconds before he go upstairs, vault over the window and then get to me. I know that. And I successfully used the first grenade, and I yield pretty good results. So I'm thinking I may go for the second one, which is in the house across the street. And I know you can still, I'm going to at some point just mute myself so that you can hear the chainsaw noise.
Oh, sorry. Oh, nice.
Because I know at that point the chainsaw man should be downstairs. At the very least, even if he bashed into the house, he should be upstairs, or maybe he's still downstairs. Either way, he should be in the vicinity. And the only reason why I decided to go across the street in the first place is because I'm still hearing the chainsaw noise, so I know he's down there. So guess what? I jump around, I get into the house, and the moment, this is just so sketchy, the moment I open the door, he's behind the door I was supposed to go in to get the nade. As if the game predicted my path and just relocated the guy there. Yes, he actually teleported, because at no point do you actually see him cross the street. And at some point, I swear to God, it feels like you stop hearing the chainsaw altogether, and then he just spawns somewhere else. And this is what this difficulty is about: inconsistency. Sometimes your runs will end abruptly, and I don't think it is on you. This is just the game. This is just not the game. This difficulty and the RNG. People call it RNG. I'm sorry. I feel like RNG is just such a good word to use for these, those occurrences. I use random bullshit because whenever this happens, you die, right? You just die, and that's it. There's nothing you can do. There's no counter because you get instant. I got instantly grabbed, and there was nothing I could do. I was doomed the moment I broke line of sight with the chainsaw guy. The moment I stepped my eyes away from him, I lost. And this is very bad. This is so bad. And that alone is infuriating. But you know what? Because this happens early in your run, it's not a big deal because you're going to restart. It's going to take 1 minute to get back here, so it's not that bad. That said, for the next clip, I really think the game pushed it and even pushed me to, I was experiencing things I thought I repressed for years. Let me give you a bit of context. When it comes to achieving S+ for the professional difficulty, you have 15 saves to dispatch as you see fits, right? There is no, you decide where you save. So I was 2 chapters deep without saving. I think it was chapter 12 and 13. I was confident in my ability to get through those 2 chapters without dying, and I was saving my saves for the fight against Krauser or the chapter, chapter 15. And by the way, if you're fluent in Spanish, what does acobiento even means? Whatever they're shouting, in chapter 15, what does it mean? Acobiento here, acobiento there, and they just never stop. I want to know what it means. Anyway, I was deep into the chapter with Ashley, and we were in the sewer part, and you are familiar with the regenerators. You have to shoot them. You can brute force your way, trying to defeat them, and eventually the weak part, the weak spot is going to be exposed. Or you can use a rifle with the biosensor, and you can see their hurts, and destroying every single one of their hurt is going to prevent them from regenerating, which is what you should aim for if you want to be ammo efficient. So I was there in the sewer part, and I have successfully exposed every single one of the hurt, and I have successfully shot at them. Even with my terrible aim on the controller, I was able to destroy every single one of those hurts. But this enemy is actually special because he's going to spawn an additional hurt in his head, which you have to shoot. And this is where things get a little bit sus, a little bit sketchy. For some very odd reason, this guy did not spawn the additional hurt, and it left me with no solution because how am I supposed to get to the door with Ashley and activate the door if I can't get there? And not only that, not only was the guy not spawning the last hurt, but very conveniently he couldn't be staggered. I even used the biosensor to scan him and I couldn't see a single hurt. So I thought maybe maybe the game is trying to fuck with me, maybe this is a bug. You know what, I'm going to try to either use a flash grenade or a grenade, just trying to stun him long enough for me and Ashley to go open the door. But in this difficulty, enemies are so fast and you don't have time to do both. And for some very odd reason, not only was he not spawning his additional hurt, but he couldn't be staggered. I mean, no matter what weapon I was using, he would not be staggered. I could not cut off his limbs, and it almost felt like a tank, So I was just there, clueless. I knew I was dead because there was nothing I could do, and I knew I would have to go back all the way to chapter 12 just because I couldn't get to the door. And this is where I call bullshit. This is where of all the bugs, of all the places this bug could have taken place, it had to be with the one enemy I couldn't run away from. Not the previous guys I could just evade trying to get the access keycard. No, the one I had to defeat is the one I can't defeat, and this is where I call bullshit. And this is why I told you that this difficulty is not hard, it is just inconsistent. This is certainly a bug, but I gotta say, it is a very, very convenient bug, and it ended my run. Obviously, I ran out of 8 innings and solutions. He couldn't be staggered, so why even bother? And stunlocking is a thing. So even if you get to the door, he's going to stunlock you, and you're basically dead. So yeah, this game is rigged. I'm convinced that this game is rigged. I mean, not the game itself, but this difficulty is rigged. So if you still want to try your luck, you should know beforehand that sometimes those things can happen to you, and this is not your fault. You will die, you will be stunlocked, you will be instantly grabbed, and you won't be able to do anything, and that's not on you. If someone can justify how a chainsaw guy went across the street silently, maybe he is the hitty bitty from Dead by Daylight, he has silent add-ons, I don't know. But for some reason that guy went across the street before I do, vaulted the window and waited behind the door, while 2 seconds ago he was downstairs in the previous house. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make this video to make people aware that this game is full of shit. This difficulty is nothing to joke with. It is not hard, it is just unfair and unbalanced and rigged and all those things at the same time, and I'm done. I have beaten it twice, this difficulty, and I don't plan on doing it again unless it is New Game Plus. It is fun in a very twisted way, but sometimes it is not fun. I'm Jisoo, and I'll see you around. Peace.